it out. You don't have to raise your hand. Yeah.
Top left things at the Snapchat spectacles.
Correct.
The Nvidia.
Yep. Anybody else?
The HoloLens.
Nice. We got a couple of those. HoloLens 2 in the bottom here. If anyone ever wants to try them out, feel free to come up to the XR lab. We're all really lonely, and we would love your company. And bottom right, anybody? I don't know if you can see the name on the side here. It's the Magic Leap. And the most, one you probably see in your everyday life the most, your phone. Definitely a huge AR medium, and definitely something everybody could use to work and show their AR projects. So popular AR SDKs, we're going to be majority be using these first two, AR Core and AR Kit, for our Apple or Android devices. You'll see these in Unity as packages you can install, and we will definitely get to that later. And this third one, super popular, Lightship ARDK. It's developed by Niantic, the same people that made Pokemon Go, our favorite AR game that no longer, nobody plays anymore.
There's literally a club for it here.
Sorry to any Pokemon Go club goers, I didn't mean to offend you. It's a great game. And yeah, here's a little graph of there's AR, different AR like items that are generally used and are all encompassed in the Unity XR SDK. And today we're going to be using AR Foundation to kind of put these all together and create AR applications. Alright, so we're going to get to setting up our environment. So first we need to make sure our editor has what we need. Make sure that either you have AR Foundation, or well, we would like for everyone to have AR Foundation 5 on any Unity editor 2021.2 plus. Again, I'll quickly go through how do we get to there and to see if you have those installed. So we're going to go to our Unity Hub and go to your installs on the left here, and we're going to hit the gear, and you're going to want to look at your modules just to double check either you have iOS or Android build support corresponding to whatever device you might want to use it on. Additionally, you don't actually necessarily need these, you can also do it on your computer, but it's nice to port stuff onto your phone and look at it. Alright, so it's time to get some packages. So let's open up a project and get to work. So you're going to go back to your project tabs and open up a new project in your editor of choice. I already have one open, so I'm not going to go through all that, but give you guys a minute to do that and let it load, and then we'll continue. And if anyone needs any help, feel free to raise your hand, and somebody around the room can come help you.
You need to choose a template.
Yeah, you can just choose a 3D template. Alternatively, if you downloaded the GitHub previously from before on the AR Foundations, you can also just create your project as a root of that directory, and you can access those assets from there as well. So I'll just show that really here. So if we go to this GitHub link, and you guys can either clone this into as a repository into your computer, or you can download a zip file and unzip it based on whatever release that you need. If you have AR Foundation 5.0, you're going to want either these, or you're going to want this 2022.2 one most likely. So that is also a option, and here's the QR code to get to that GitHub if you guys want. Does anybody not have their project up and running right now? All right, I'll give them another minute, and then we'll get back into it.
Don't be shy to raise your hand. I will find you.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the GitHub link in the Discord. The GitHub link is posted in the general chat in the Discord as well. And if somebody doesn't know how to download the zip file, when you're in the GitHub, just hit this code button, green code button, and then you can just hit download zip, and that'll give you a zip file of the repository. I'll just go through how to open that or that project with the folder. So you go to new project and make sure whatever editor you want to use is up top here. We'll just do a 3D project. And for the location, just make sure the root is the same folder that you downloaded.
One thing to note is the Unity version does not matter. I mean, you have something over 2021.2, but if it tells you you don't have the right Unity version, you can just press continue, right? So if you have something over 2021.2, then you're good.
are going to continue unless anybody. Alright, let's do it. So, yeah, back to getting our packages. So, in order to grab the packages, what you want to do, so when you have your project open, you're going to go up to Window, which is in the top left bar up top, second from the right. You're going to go to Window, you're going to go to Package Manager. We're going to click on that. It's going to open this up. So if you go to the Unity registry, you can just download this AR package, which has a good amount of the packages we'll be using today. But if you guys want the specific ones, they are on the slideshow. So what you're going to do is go up to the top right, and you can just type in AR Foundation, and then you can install that right away.
Yeah, and if you guys download GitHub, you guys should already have it. Well,
Yeah.
you should already have it. You see it right here. You see AR Foundation. It's already installed. Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys got the GitHub, then it comes with the packages, assets, everything you need, so you don't have to worry about this. If you didn't get the GitHub, then we're going to start with getting the AR Foundation. And don't worry if it doesn't say pre-release or anything, I'm just on the 2023 version, so. Next, you're going to want to get your ARKit or AR Core corresponding to what device you're going to be running this on. If you do want to port this to your phone, so if you're on iOS, it's going to be Apple ARKit XR plugin. You can just type in like Apple ARKit and it should come up. And if you're on Samsung, it'll be Google AR Core XR plugin. The next package we're going to go for is the OpenXR plugin. Again, you can just type that up on the top right. Ideally, these AR Foundation will be 5.0, ARKit or AR Core will be 5.0 something. If it's 4.7, you might be on 2021, it'll be 4.7. That's fine as well. Next, we're going to get the XR Interaction Toolkit, and that should be the last one we need. Yeah. And once we have all those packages installed, you can also get the XR simulation environments for your other packages. Not sure if this is 100% necessary, but yeah, you can also search that one up. I don't think it's on some of the older versions, but I think if you're on 2022, you should be fine. This will just allow us to simulate some of these scenes and do some cool things. Everyone ready to move on? Cool. So we're going to go over how to run the simulation. So first we're going to go to Edit. So you guys can close your package manager out now. And we're going to go to Edit on the top right, second from the left. And you're going to go to Project Settings, which is pretty far down. And if it doesn't already have you on the XR Plugin Management page, you should go to the XR Plugin Management page. And so this first tab is going to correspond to your monitor or whatever your laptop that you're on. You're going to want to select XR Simulation, the package that we just installed. If you guys don't have that, then I can go back to the last slide, and it should be called XR Simulation Environment, the package that we needed to install. And if you guys are doing this on your phone as well, you can go to either iOS or Android. I only have iOS here. Just make sure that your Apple or Google AR Core Kit is selected. that that's done, we are going to go to our build settings next. So we're gonna go to File, all the way on the left, Build Settings, and down at the bottom, you're gonna see Player Settings, and you're gonna want to do this for whatever, again, you're running this on. So I'm doing this for my laptop. You're gonna hit Player Settings, and go to XR Plugin Management. Actually, it's the same thing. But yeah, also make sure that this is ticked in case it's not. It's also, yeah, it should be the same. Do the same thing for your iOS or whatever, yeah, whatever device you're using.
And the point of the XR simulation is so since building on your phone, it does take some time. The XR simulation allows you to quickly iterate on your AR scene without having to build on your phone. So it kind of it simulates the real world, right? Or what would happen if it was in the real world. If you guys get the chance after this workshop, definitely build on your actual device so you guys can see it. But
If we're all ready to move on, we can go to how to create a simulation. Alright, so you're going to go to Window, yet again, and we're going to go to XR, towards the bottom, go to AR Foundation, and XR Environment. And this should open up a little tab labeled XR Environment, and yours might not look like mine, it probably won't look like mine, but what you're going to want to do is go to this little XR Environment bar here, and hit this drop down that says, it might say whatever, but yeah, hit the drop down menu, and you're going to want to hit import sample environments or install sample environments. Do you guys see that, or yeah? It might take a minute or two, so just let it load, yeah. And raise your hand if you have any questions or whatever, and we can come around. Yeah, you can import all that stuff. It's just gonna import a bunch of different scenes for you, the objects. Yeah. And then yeah, that'll take a minute or two to load.
Okay, I'll write it down. Because like when I'm trying to download something, I only download the Affinity assets.
Yeah.
And then I can't use that.
Yeah.
Like what is that?
So yeah, you just want like object or 3D model. So just go to like Sketchpad or just 3D Trader. If you search up 3D.
And feel free to play around with the different scenes that get downloaded by selecting them from the menu again.
Like assets, your assets are specifically what did I say? I'm just one page after you like that.
No, it's like,
Yes, that's what's back here.
yeah, it's just like I put it as this one, but
why specifically 8 ball?
I'm just gonna go through a couple of different scenes on the up front here, and we'll just look at a couple different ones. So we got some bedrooms. Might look like some of your guys' dorm rooms. They're pretty small. Looks like they really wanted to get the little house feel going on here. Oh, we got a factory. Biggest factory. Oh, that's the factory. You guys think an Amazon factory looks like this, or probably worse conditions? Huh?
Amazon warehouse. It's
Yeah.
missing the water balls with people.
Yeah, maybe Jeff's lurking around somewhere. Got a little museum, little airplane. And yeah, you guys can use or choose whichever one you want. We are going to be coming back to this later, and you're going to spend most of your time in the scene that you choose. So yeah, and we're just going to be going through a bunch of different augmented reality applications on this. So I'm going to stick with the park. But AR projects.
Just like Jason. Should be like the second person to do this support. Vice versa, yeah. And just message me about you. We also have like the XR Club Lab where it's open, it's 5 6, it's open every single day. We have like various
So let's have a quick refresher on Unity's terminology. We're going to start with the scene. It's the environment that you arrange or set your game objects in. Game objects are building blocks of your scene, so trees, benches, maybe light posts, fountains, whatever you see in these little scenes here. Components are scripts that modify the behavior of a game object. And managers keep track of what state the game is in, manages systems, records, and stores information. So we're going to start with the simple AR, so I'm going to run these on my screen. And you guys can do the same by hitting the play button up top. It should put you back in your in the environment you had here. I'm going to hit return and then click simple AR. So what this is going to demonstrate, this scene demonstrates point cloud visualization and plane detection. There are buttons on screen that let you pause, resume, and reset the AR session. Return is going to bring you back to that original menu. When a plane is detected, you can tap on the plane to place a cube on it, so I'll display that pretty quickly here. So in order to move around in the screen, you're going to want to right click in this box, and then WASD will move your character forward or backwards, and your right clicking will move like your field of view around. It's kind of tough on the trackpad, almost impossible on a trackpad, I'm going to be honest. So I clicked the play button up here. I don't know if you can see it on there, but there should be a play button above your hold on.
There's like a little search file that like allows you to search any file from the project.
Did you get the Git
So you can search these.
Yeah.
The now try.
Okay, I got a new tutorial for you guys. So everybody that got the GitHub, in the bottom left, you should have a list of assets, right? And so in these assets, we're going to go to the scenes folder. And in that scenes folder, there is a simple AR folder.
Yeah, the camera.
And before you do this, make sure that you like pause the game and get rid of it on your screen. So there shouldn't really be anything there. So going over the XR simulation package, we're going to go back to our package manager. And you can just type in, I already have it here, but you can type in XR simulation environment, or XR simulation, and XR simulation environment should come up. I know from my own exploits that this sometimes, or it's not on every version. I know I was on 2021 and this wasn't showing up. But it seems like people with 2022, does anyone have 2022 and can vouch that this package came up, or? I'm on 2023, so I don't.
It shouldn't matter.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter. I know it wasn't there on 2021, that was my problem. You should have this if you got the GitHub, that should be no problem. If you don't, then maybe just download the GitHub and it'll automatically appear in there. So yeah, going back to how to open this scene. So once we're in the scenes folder, we're gonna hit the simple AR folder, and you're gonna want to open this Unity simple AR file, right? And once you open that, you will get a game screen, and then you'll get a blank game screen with a bunch of buttons, but this will all be black. And then you hit the play button up top, and it'll show you what I'm seeing here right now.
Yeah, and then drag your tag. Drag it.
Feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions.
And for your scenes, go down to simple AR. That Unity logo, that will also be a simple escape. Once you do that, and you play, it's not yes, it is installed. Okay.
Where did? Do you need any samples? Tejas. Yeah. So what we want to do is.
Can I see the samples? I can't remember if you go back to the package manager window.
How many people can't see the XR simulation environment? You can't see it?
I couldn't at first, but it's working now.
How do you fix it?
I don't know.
Wait, which one?
Some people can't see like the actual XR simulation environment package.
Like in the samples and like the
Yeah, I mean,
can't at all?
Yeah, they
Can
can't.
you see an example?
I was having that yesterday, but once I downloaded the GitHub, it seemed.
Wait, who can't see it?
Okay.
Did you guys get the GitHub or?
Does it matter which way?
No, it
It
shouldn't.
shouldn't. Because they have a type of
Which version did you put? Okay, 4.2 might be. Are you on 2021?
This
So yeah, so I was on 2021 and
Here,
I
you
didn't
just
have-
hit the plus,
I couldn't get the access information, so I had to.
and then you add by character by name.
So it might be a little outdated.
Can I, who wants to volunteer help me?
No, they, I mean, they are.
You wanna volunteer help me?
I don't know.
Can you
what
click on the
happened.
link?
Can you go to your window package manager? Yep. And then go to that, I just need to see. Alright, type, com.id.
Okay, I don't see the extra simulation like dependency in the packages file for the 2021.
I mean, okay, go to this one real quick. When you go to the force it down, and then go to documents.
Do you want the name?
Actually, I take you might be you have to do that.
I can
It might be
fill in-
better if you do it. Go to your file explorer. Yeah, we're just gonna force down the project canvas. Go to the actual project.
It should be there. Let me
Go to packages. Go to the manifest and open it up. So this is the project manifest, which is all the packages you have in your Unity scene. If you can't see the XR simulator, there is a way to just make it download automatically by just changing the project manifest. That's a lot of stuff. Okay, and it would be this. Vegas, if you could post this on the Discord, copy and paste that. So to get to your project manifest, you want to go through your file explorer, and this is for people who can't see the XR simulator environment. You want to go to your file explorer, go to the project, and then go to packages, and then manifest.json. And you can just let's sync this up for a second.
name within the,
You can also, I think, add it through the this might just be a little more foolproof.
Did you have to download this? Like as a
It was a package you found on the window.
actual file?
Yeah, I don't think they included it in some of the older versions of Air Foundation.
That's fine. Okay. Do you instead of that, just
Yeah, I
put
posted that in the general for the Discord. So again, yeah, find your source file wherever you installed this or downloaded this whole folder, and go to packages and then the manifest file, and you're just gonna plug that in somewhere.
add from disk. I mean,
And make sure you put a comma after it if you're throwing it randomly in the file, or if you're putting it at the end, then
well, you can.
it just need a comma. But yeah, make sure the commas make sense.
Which branch of the XR Foundations did you download, Davis? Like the GitHub?
I downloaded the
regular
most
branch?
recent one.
The main?
Most recent one. 5.103.
5 point, okay. Okay.
I think. Let me check.
Okay, so the issue with people who can't see it
Yeah.
is you might have a different version of you might have downloaded the main from the GitHub instead of the 5.1. So what you want to do is go to the GitHub, right? And yeah, you were on 4.2. Right? You want to make sure to download 5.0, and I'm pretty sure that's your issue too. If you go to GitHub, just download this branch, 5.0. Make sure you download this, and then that should fix it.
And make sure you save your manifest file after tweaking it, and then you can just access it. Is there a better way to move around without right clicking this? Okay, without a mouse.
I'm a
Wait, what?
better way to move around the simulator.
Oh, that right.
I didn't have my own configurations, I'm not sure. Once you make a custom script right now.
I can't move now. On display, like, yeah. No, it definitely is.
And yeah, you guys, people who have the AR simple scene up, you guys should be seeing the plane detection working, just like on the screenshot, where it's just detecting like the different planes, and it'll work the same if you build it on your device. It'll detect the real like planes on the surface. It's so challenging. I would have built it on this from like the actual scene. So I couldn't see it, but I had bought the Apple's like development thing like a while ago. And I had you know how to use it like 100 certificates. Right, so I used more than like 3 languages with the 3 tiers. But they had this glitch. It should be stopping. That's so stupid. I'm not paying for it again. So. Maybe we'll fix that by now. Alright,
So for those of us that are on the same screen that I am, I don't know, mine's not working. Question mark.
should have a contact
whatever scene that you were in. It's a pain to move around on your laptops. So those of you with mice, you can right click and then move around with WASD. If you look towards the bottom of the floor or any like planes, you should see this yellow boundary. That'll indicate a plane. And you also should be able to see some point clouds that are referencing certain objects, maybe the light poles or benches or whatever. And we'll kind of get to what exactly those are in a second. But a couple other things in this scene. We have the AR session, which controls the life cycle of an AR experience by enabling or disabling AR on the target platform. And the XOR origin, which is a component that transforms trackable features such as planar surfaces and feature points into their final position, rotation, and scale in a scene. So that definitely helps us with the point cloud and plane detection. So yeah, feel free to try that on your own, and we'll start looking at the other scenes. So there are two more objects in this scene, the AR input manager and the AR camera manager. The first handles interaction events, such as the user tapping on their screen. I don't know if you guys have any, you can tap on the screen if you want to hit the buttons. I don't know if any of you have a touchscreen laptop. And the camera manager manages your device's camera properties, light estimation, and if you're using a forwards or backwards facing camera. So yeah, all this comes in handy with your phone that can handle all of this stuff, so we will definitely get to that later. Yeah, so plane detection, we talked about it before, we'll go in depth a little more. And if you want, you can open up a different scene here as well, but yeah, the original simple AR scene has and supports plane detection, which if I were to look at the floor here, there would be a little boundary around it. I wish I could, but I don't have a mouse, so it's kind of a pain. But yeah, AR Foundation supports plane detection, which means it allows us to detect horizontal and vertical surfaces. A great management tool for plane detection is the AR Plane Manager, which will create game objects for each detected plane in the environment. So does anyone want to know why we would use plane detection? And to go to some other plane detection samples, you can hit the return button at the top right, and then go to the plane detection section here. And you can hit any of these. We'll go to feathered planes. I can't see what a feathered plane looks like though. And plane detection is, the reason we use it is for depth perception. Very good for differentiating different surfaces. And yeah. Anyone have any questions? Cool. Next, we're going to talk about point cloud detection. A point cloud is a collection of millions of data points, each having its unique XYZ coordinates located in 3D space. So what does that mean? Essentially, all of these come together to represent some kind of object, whether it's a sphere, a cube, a couch, a floor, a mat, a cat, I don't know. Whatever you want, point clouds essentially come together to kind of describe this object. They can also be used to create cloud maps of areas, such as with what Google does with point clouds. They use their air navigation, uses point cloud maps to scan an area, look for objects, maybe traffic lights, whatever. And yeah, the AR Point Cloud Manager creates point clouds and sets the feature points. Can anyone think of any other uses for point clouds, or is this all we can use them for?
That's it, there's no more.
What a great answer from DJ. Unfortunately, he's wrong. You can use point clouds for anything that you deem is acceptable and fun. So yeah, if you guys want to look at other point cloud examples, again, in the samples, there is a point cloud folder. You can click on that, and we got some, it's going to tell you how many points there are. but if you go towards an object, that should increase when you can see the points. Again, I can't really move, so this is tragic. Again, if you are able to, you can right-click this and then hit WASD to move around. I hate Unity. If anybody's stuck, feel free to raise your hand, or we are going to move on without you.
Which scene was that?
So this is the point cloud detection scene. If you want to figure out what this is, you hit your return button, go to the point clouds folder, or really it's a button, there's only one thing in it, and it's going to bring you right to the scene. And you should see a bunch of dots around different objects. If you go closer to them, those will be your points, and they're essentially describing that object. It's kind of giving you a rough estimation of what you're looking at, right? So next we're going to talk about anchors. An anchor is a position and orientation that the device tracks. In our scene, we can anchor a plane, and this is handled by the AR Anchor Manager, which handles the removal and addition of anchors. So if you want to look at some anchors, mine doesn't work, but maybe your guys' does. You can look at some anchors by clicking on this anchor button. It should give you some anchors. Mine doesn't like me. It's tragic.
And as you guys can see by like the different like scenes that are listed in the menu, some of them are not available just from the simulator. You would actually need your phone. For example, object tracking, face tracking, which you would see a lot with filters, body tracking, stuff like that. So I do like if you guys can like build on your phones when you get the chance, just to see what they're like, just all these samples. But yeah.
Exactly what he said. Next we're going to talk about raycasting. Maybe a lot of you have heard of this, but how does it work? Well, raycasting allows you to determine where a ray, defined by an origin and a direction, so it's kind of like a vector, intersects with a trackable. In this scene we are using the AR Raycast Manager. That really looks like it says a raycast. To perform a raycast against the plane, trackable is anything that can be detected and tracked in the real world, so planes, point clouds, anchors, environment probes, faces, images, and 3D objects are all examples of trackables. So yeah, raycasting can be put together with a lot of these things we've already talked about. Yeah, planes, point clouds, anchors, just to kind of elevate your AR scene and make it a little more realistic. Next, we're going to talk about the iOS and Android build settings. And I don't know if you guys can see on there. Is that too small? Or essentially, you can go to your build settings in the file and build settings. And if you're on iOS, you click iOS. If you're on Android, click Android. And you can model them after these. And you can actually build and run the project on your phones if they're connected to your computer through maybe USB-C or whatever. And that'll definitely give you more access to a lot more of those scenes we're talking about. Let it be noted that building projects on your phones definitely takes a lot longer than the simulations that we do. So it is nicer to build them on the simulation, but yeah, you don't get all of the access that your phone might. Next, we're going to talk about occlusion. Again, another kind of depth perception object. So does anyone have any ideas what's wrong with these with these pictures? Feel free to shout out some answers.
They can't detect objects.
They can't detect objects. Well, that's not exactly what I was going for, but it's definitely on the right path. Anybody else?
You can't tell that there's like something in front of the object it's trying to display.
Right, yeah. So the main problem is that it doesn't know exactly where the object is in relation to other things in the scene. So that statue, or whatever's on the top right, shouldn't be, right in front of the screen in front of that person. And this dragon should, yeah, I mean, you can kind of tell. So yeah, going through occlusion, we obviously don't want our cat to look like that thing on the left, because that's not where it is. It'd be kind of creepy if you saw that in real life. Kind of got an X-ray or whatever. But yeah, you want it to get the depth of field correct and understand that certain objects are overlapped by other objects. So occlusion, your formal definition, the process of blending virtual AR objects with a real environment. And this will be done through your AR occlusion manager. With this component configured in your scene, your virtual content is more integrated into the real world using depth information. And just a reminder, all these managers kind of make your life easier by implementing these different techniques. But you can definitely improve on them by, going through stuff on the internet and learning about it yourself. Depth information conveys an image in which each pixel represents the distance between the device and real-world objects, and that's essentially how the manager works. And if you want to look at occlusion, you can, go to the plane occlusion scene over here on the right. Mine doesn't work, sadly, but yeah. Next we have light estimation. Light estimation estimates for average color temperature and brightness in a physical space. It provides input to ensure that the shadows, shading, and reflections of objects appear natural when presented in AR applications. So focusing on the basic light estimation screen, I don't think that mine's working, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, it demonstrates basic light estimation information from the camera frame. You should see values for ambient intensity and ambient color on the screen, but you can't see those in the simulator, so you'd have to be using your phone for that. Ambient color, ambient intensity, what are those? Well, ambient color is the color of the light near or surrounding a certain spot. The intensity is the light available in the tonal environment. Any idea what light estimation might be used for? Maybe you guys have played some games or done some things where you looked at something and it just didn't seem right. Alright, no ideas. That's okay. One thing that comes to mind is like Minecraft shaders. Definitely take it to a whole new level with a little bit more. I mean, it's not AR, but definitely messes with the lighting a little bit. Makes everything look cool. Turns your computer into a jet engine. Image and object tracking. So 2D image tracking, we detect and track 2D images. Why? So we can interact with them. And you can call those previous objects and things on them and just make everything work together. The tracked image manager will create game objects for each detected image in the environment. And before an image can be detected, the manager must be instructed to look for a set of reference images compiled into a reference image library. And only images in those libraries will be detected. So it's looking for certain images, essentially. And with the prefab image pair manager.cs script, you can assign different prefabs for each image in this reference image library. So, is our tracking working? Of course. Oh, well, we have image tracking. We can check the image tracking screen. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't have any images. All right. Well, I can't really get that working, unfortunately. Also, our reference image library is not mutable. That's concerning. Definitely would want to look into the script and see why that is not mutable. Let's see, we can check it out right now, I guess. We got a little bit of time. yeah, I'm not reading all of that, I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, if you did want to see why you're getting that error, you can go through to your scenes, image tracking, and find your prefab image pair manager. And you can look through that code maybe and see why it's saying it's not mutable. That also might just be a problem with being on the simulator, not 100% sure. But yeah. Getting to object tracking, this is for 3D objects. So previously image tracking, 2D objects, like images are 2D. But let's say you want to work with a sphere. Well, we need to be able to detect that sphere. And so similarly, the track object manager will create game objects for each detected object. And before that object can be detected, it must be instructed to look for that in the reference object library. So you need to make sure everything that you're looking for will already be accounted for, or else you're not going to be able to track those objects or images in your scenes. And yeah, let's go to face tracking. So you guys have definitely seen face tracking a lot, whether you, I don't know, touch Snapchat, seen a filter, or any other apps, really for the most part, that use filters. Face tracking is definitely a big thing there. So yeah, look at this guy, he's really having a fun time with it. And there are several samples showing different face tracking features. You can find these really everywhere. Some are ARCore specific, some are ARKit specific, so Android versus iOS. But today we'll focus on these simple ones, using a front-facing camera. So if you are running this on your phone, you can see this should draw like some lines around your face. If you go to that scene, they also depend on the AR Face Manager, which creates objects for the face detected in the environment. And the system only detects human faces, so this probably won't work on your cat unless it looks really human, which is a little concerning, but you know, to each their own. And so we have the face pose, which is the simplest face tracking sample, and it simply draws an axis at the detected face's pose, and the face mesh, which instantiates and updates a mesh representing the detected face. And information about the device support is displayed on the screen. On the screen they're talking about. And can you guys think of any more examples of face tracking that you might see on your phone, not on your phone, anywhere? Yes.
The social credit system.
Good one.
On Facebook, Google, is like one of your photos that matches your faces to like other photos in your album and stuff like that?
Yes, yep, yeah, absolutely. So if anyone uses Google Photos, I know I do, it actually creates albums based on the different faces in certain photos. And then it'll add those photos to those albums. It's very nice. So yeah, human body tracking. So it's 2D and 3D representations of humans recognized in physical space. A 2D and 3D skeleton is generated when a person is detected. And here we're using the AR Human Body Manager to detect these 2D and 3D representations. And all of these components can be added through scripts, as you can see on the right here. We can also look at the scene and
Yeah, every single one of these are scenes in your Unity project. So if you search up in your project manager body tracking, you'll open up that scene. Right? You can see the different components that make up it.
so yeah, down here we have the human body managers and the different body tracking scenes. Yeah, so if you download AR Foundations, you will have a scene for every single thing that we have discussed so far. So yeah, here's a couple examples of human body tracking. So creating filters for an entire person. This guy's getting some drip. He can't afford it in real life, maybe, I don't know, but maybe he's trying it on before he actually gets it. He wants to see if it'll look good with his other outfits. So now what? You can play around with all of the different scenes. We definitely didn't get to all of them, but there are a ton of different scenes in here. Some that we didn't look at, maybe with the camera, meshing, environment probes, etc. Feel free to play around with them, even connect your phone and go around drawing planes on people, maybe point clouds, ask them why they got dots on their face. And yeah, you can try creating your own projects or just building off of the pre-existing scenes that we have here today. So yeah, thank you everyone for coming. Here are our Discord and Terp link. Feel free to join if you haven't already. Feel free to ask any questions. There's our website on the bottom. DJ's great at keeping it up and doing awesome things to the website. A lot of cool functionalities coming. And yeah, thank you. If you guys have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and have a good one.
What room's the?
It's upstairs. It's in AB Williams 4176.